Bitcoin is currently above $75,000 and we have a lot to talk about in today's video. Not only is Michael Saylor single-handedly holding up the crypto market, but there are some amazing altcoin shorting opportunities that I'd like to discuss in today's video as well. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. First of all, we have to discuss Bitcoin because you can see that we're above $75,000 and a lot of people are getting extremely bullish, particularly because of the fact that Michael Saylor seems to be able to buy an unlimited amount of Bitcoin with his most recent product that we discussed in my live stream yesterday. Basically, whenever this is above $100, it's trading at a premium and he's able to use that as excess liquidity to buy a crap ton of Bitcoin. Now, he currently bought today over 2,400 Bitcoins. Yesterday, nearly $1 billion worth of Bitcoin alone. So he is really going at it, and this can continue up until tomorrow. So it's highly likely that Bitcoin experiences some kind of local top around this zone as soon as Michael Saylor is done buying. There is not that much interest in crypto at the moment. Michael Saylor is really driving this market forward. Now, only time will tell how much further this can go, but my base case in terms of Bitcoin remains exactly the same. And if you're new to the channel, that base case is the fact that we should be experiencing some kind of rejection from around these zones, creating another lower high on the higher time frame. Now, Bitcoin has dropped just over 52% from the highs down to this low right below $60,000. Now we're getting a nice move up. We're currently above $75,000. And in my previous video, we also talked about the fact that this bull market support band would likely act as resistance. That is, if we can even make it there. I am still of the opinion that this rally will lead simply to another lower high, getting retail absolutely wrecked, thinking that the bull market is back. Please remember, we are still structurally in a downtrend, and it still looks very, very similar to the last time Bitcoin broke down where I initially shorted Bitcoin. Then I actually added to my position at around $74,000, making my average entry price on my Bitcoin short at $80,000. I read some of your comments. Oh my God, we're going to hit $80,000. Then what are you going to do? Please take a look at my realized profit here. I've already secured around 300K on this trade. And if we were to, for whatever reason, get to $80,000, I don't really care because I've already secured profits on this trade. Speaking of which, I'm still shorting the crap out of Tau. You can see that I'm holding it with a current $200,000 unrealized P&L. I am expecting this to go lower, especially if Bitcoin rolls over. Every single time on the lower time frames that Bitcoin has had even a tiny bit of a rejection, Tau has really suffered. And if you measure Tau against Bitcoin, it is looking absolutely awful. We talked about this in one of my previous videos. It was always going to create another lower high, and I fully am expecting this to drop below its own bull market support band. But that's not the altcoin that I wanted to talk about in today's video. The altcoin that I'd like to talk about in today's video is Rave. Now, I also mentioned it in my live stream if you tuned into it yesterday, but this project is now sitting at around a $4 billion market cap. It is going to be a phenomenal short. But let me explain things clearly because this is a very high risk setup. I actually talked about it in my community today and I made $15,000 off of this token already within basically 1 hour, but you need to be careful trading this token. Look, at this point in time, up above, you can see that the funding rate is currently sitting at negative 1.53. This means that the shorts are effectively paying the longs. It is not cheap to short this token because a lot of people have a lot of interest in shorting this token. So, how do you approach this? You look for a local top, and then as you get favorable price action, you move your stop loss to break even. I shouldn't say you. I should say me, because that's how I will be trading this and how I've already started trading this. Please remember that nothing that I discuss on the channel should be construed as financial advice. I'm just a guy on the internet sharing all of his own personal trades and his overall market analysis. Now, if you don't believe me that I've already shorted this token and made some profits, I can show you. This was shared in my group this morning, as a matter of fact, and I talked about how yesterday I would be looking to short Rave. And if you take a look at this price action, we had basically over a 40% dump, and I still didn't enter. Then we had another move to the upside, and I entered a short trade today, and this is essentially how it played out. Obviously, I gave the disclaimer that it is a very, very risky trade. This isn't trading Bitcoin or Ethereum. It's trading a shit coin that seemingly just continues to pump. But when it dumps, it will dump massively. You can see where I entered, where I exited, and then I moved my stop loss to break even. That is the key thing. This is not like a swing trading setup where you can just hold this trade for an extended period of time and not adjust your position, because since a lot of people are currently looking to trade this token, you'll notice that the funding rate is exceptionally high. So it's very, very easy for the market makers to push this token even higher, liquidating a ton of shorts. And then finally, when people start to say, okay, this token is just going to continue going up, they flush it down 80%. We've seen this time and time again. And outside of what I just showed you within my group this morning, where I ended up getting stopped out at break even after securing around $15,000 in profit, I have a history of shorting shitcoins. 7 months ago, when Kanye West launched his token, I screamed at the top of my lungs to look to short this token. Shared in my group as well. But what you need to understand here is that these types of tokens always retrace, particularly when we are in a bear market. And yes, even though Bitcoin is currently above $75,000 as I'm recording this video, we are in a bear market. So I will simply look to short this token, as I've done so many times before. Something else, I'd like you to take a look at this video if shorting altcoins interests you. It was basically a tutorial that I posted around 10 months ago where I talked about how I was making 20K a month shorting altcoins in crypto. It sounds counterintuitive because when you think of crypto, you think of 100x gains, and especially if you're new to the space, why would he be betting on the tokens going down? But that's exactly it. If everyone thinks these tokens will continue to appreciate, well, it was an excellent opportunity to make consistent gains by shorting tokens on the way down, particularly altcoins that don't have that much utility. So taking a look at this, the funding is currently sitting at negative 1.6, and I would simply be waiting to get another move to the upside. Now, obviously, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know when or if this will happen, but you can rest assured that all of my trades in terms of trading this token in particular and the rest of the crypto market will be shared in my group with the first link in my description down below. If you want to know how I'm trading Rave, Bitcoin, or any other cryptocurrencies on a day-by-day, week-by-week basis, you do have that first link. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you'll be able to join my private group. So you click this link, DM the keyword, you'll get essentially welcomed with a bot message, and it'll ask you to sign up to one of the affiliate exchange links down below where you're able to essentially trade the market as I currently do. My go-tos are Bluffin, 2bit, and if you like self-custody, you also have Velto as an option. Whatever you like, you can use to start trading and you'll get access to my group. If you don't want to join, no worries. I'll keep up with the YouTube updates, but I just thought I'd let you know that's where I update all of my trades. Now, speaking of which, I need to also bring this to your attention. Tau is likely going to keep dropping. I still think that we're going to hit the bottom of this range, and there might be some bounces along the way, but I am ultimately really well positioned, and this one was also shared in my group. Michael Saylor will likely be buying a crap ton of Bitcoin today. I mean, he already has, but I'm expecting this to likely top out tomorrow. So let's see how the price action reacts to this. But at this point in time, yes, we are breaking above the tariff capitulation lows. Now, this is the 1-day time frame. What you really want to look for here, if you're interested in potentially shorting Bitcoin, which I've expressed time and time again, I will continue to do because we are in a bear market, is either a tap above at the bull market support band, which is all the way up to around $78,000. I've considered that, or getting some kind of sweep right here at these highs. You can also speculate on a potential lower high here. In my opinion, Bitcoin will be rolling over to below $60,000. You've heard me say it time and time again if you've been tuning into the channel. I've been relatively stress-free in my trades simply because I've been holding my short from much, much higher and I've added to my position. However, I will tell you that I did catch a loss on my most recent Ethereum trade, which was actually just under a 6-figure loss. Yes, you heard that right. So while I do currently hold a 300K floating P&L, I do incur some losses. I will not shy away from sharing those losses with you on the channel. Ultimately, my base case is still exactly the same, but I just thought I'd let you know. Now, we also have some data that came out. US March PPI inflation rose to 4%, its highest since February of 2023. Core PPI inflation wasn't unchanged at 3.8%, which is also the highest since February of 2023. So we're now seeing inflation metrics in the US that are at 4% or higher. This is significant because, as we discussed in my live stream and my previous videos, they can't cut rates if inflation continues to increase like this. Something else that's important to consider in regards to the war escalations. We won't really dwell on this too much in today's video, but there is supposedly a new round of negotiations between the US and Iran, which may be held on Thursday. President Trump did say that they received a call from the other side and they're looking to work out a deal. Let's see. And we also have the fact that ex-head of product did come out and say that crypto has had a rough year. Maybe we should launch something to fix it. Isn't this perfectly coming out right as we're at the top of our existing range and Michael Saylor is just blasting a shit ton of Bitcoin? I'm telling you right now, if we go on the higher time frame, this is not extremely bullish. Now, what would look a little bit better? Because right now you can see that I drew this trend line on the chart, and on the 1 week time frame, yes, we are technically breaking above this level, but we've had fake outs like this before. So I'm telling you, please exercise a little bit of caution. I don't think that the bear market is over. I know it's very easy to get excited. I am simply looking for another potential short entry as I continue to maintain my existing short positions. And I also look to trade some of these shit coins that have massive funding rates. And I'd like to wrap up this video showing you that we are nowhere near the previous drawdowns of the bear market. So we do get these relief rallies in bear markets, and I firmly believe that what we're seeing right now is one of those relief rallies. But take a look at this. We dropped around 52% from the highs. All the previous cycles, we've dropped significantly more. Now, you'll notice the trend, which we discussed on the channel as well. The drawdowns are less significant cycle after cycle after cycle, but so is the upside. I do think that Bitcoin will drop between 60 and 70% from all-time highs to the bottom of the bear market this year. And where that would put Bitcoin is essentially right into my bear market bottom territory. So if we take a ruler here from the top down to, call it 60%, that brings Bitcoin down to below $50,000, 70%, well, that brings Bitcoin down to $40,000. Been very vocal and very consistent about the fact that I will personally start buying Bitcoin from a spot portfolio perspective as we drop into sub $60,000. So let's see how the price action reacts. The unfortunate thing with what we're seeing here is this kind of rally sucks a lot of people back into the crypto market thinking that we are so back, the super cycle is here. And then what happens is when we have the next devastating move to the downside, people will leave the crypto space once again. Please don't. I'm warning you of this. Pay attention to the markets because they will be providing some excellent opportunities this year. And that sums up today's quick video. Michael Saylor is buying a crap ton of Bitcoin. However, I do think that we will likely experience a rejection to sub $60,000 over the course of the next coming weeks. Only time will tell, but please make sure you're managing your positions correctly because this bear market has a way of shaking out both bulls and bears. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.